Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Life of a Single Mom with Brittney.
And Creasha.
And today, you guys, this is episode 17. It's kind of special because Creasha's actually out here visiting, so we in person together. But so this week is Creasha's episode, so let's tune in and find out what she got in store for us today.
All right, you guys. I hope you guys had a great week as usual. Today is going to be a little bit of talking about co-parenting, split decisions that are made for our kids, um, some difficult decisions, and the reasons why we do the things that we do. I'm going to start out with co-parenting because my situation is not always easy, and I want to get better at it. I want to be transparent with the other parent, but it's not always like that. Like sometimes people are just difficult for no reason or whatever reason they want to be difficult. You just got to do the best that you can. If you have a partner that you're dealing with that you're not in a relationship with no more, but y'all have kids, you have to just be the best mom or dad that you can be and just let them do what they gonna do, because you can't make nobody do nothing they don't want to do. And the main focus is the kids. You guys all know I stayed in a relationship for a very long time, and you know it was more hurtful to my kids than it was for me to leave. You know what I'm saying? I know they would have got over that, but staying, it just really destroyed some things. And I lost focus on being who I needed to be for them, because I had to be who I needed to be for myself. So when y'all parents break up with these people that you had kids with, you have to understand that the focus is the kids. Don't go through a messy breakup because you in your emotions, because heartbroken. And yes, it hurts. Yes, you're going to be angry about certain things, but you cannot let that shine down on your kids, because they understand. Like babies and stuff, they don't understand, but for at a certain point in your kid's life, you understand that, they understand just like you understood, when your mom was yelling and arguing with people. So I think a lot of that has to do with the way your kids grow up and how they be standoffish with you, because we tend to put things before them. Like I prided myself not putting man before my kids because my mom did it to me and I didn't like how that felt. But in a sense, when you chasing a man for all the wrong reasons, you are putting them before your kids. And it happens so fast you don't even realize that it's happening until you actually out the whole situation and you looking at that.
I said that too, like, that's what made me so mad. Like, I spent so long in my marriage, chasing, like, basically, like you said, trying to keep him from doing the shit he was doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what made me the maddest is the fact that that took time away from my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's probably where I dropped the ball at in certain areas, because my focus wasn't there. And you don't realize you're doing it because at the same time, we still spending time with them. We still doing this, but you don't realize how much energy you put into that negative, unnecessary shit that could have been applied and help them a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. And kids see that, like we think that they don't understand what's going on, but they know. Like if your kids be around you enough, they know your face expressions, they know how you act. Like when you bubbly, if you a bubbly mom and then you all of a sudden down, they gonna know something wrong with you. So kids pay attention. I know for a fact they do. But another thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that we need to understand when we have kids. Like, of course, when you break up, y'all gonna be in separate homes. That does not mean that you don't have to help with everything that goes on with that kid. Like, it doesn't matter if you get along with the mom or the dad. You know, like, y'all have to come together for those kids, because if you gonna start a relationship with somebody new that you just meet, a friendship, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, you gonna work hard to get that person to trust you and get to know you and learn everything about you if y'all caring about each other. But you can't do that with your kids. Like, you somewhere every day and you ain't worried about building a relationship with your kid, but you gonna do it to a complete stranger. That makes no sense. Like, if your kids go to school, you got school age kids, like, it's really hard for a single parent to actually work around a kid's schedule and they got to go to school, you know, especially because we have to work and pay the bills. So it's definitely hard. And oh my God, don't let us add recreational activities after school and sports and all of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody thinks about those things. Like, just because you don't want to be a father or a mother and you decide to fuck up, you making those kids miss out on stuff that they really need, you know. And it's other kids that is in two parent homes and they know and see that it's supposed to be like that, but because of your lack of being a parent, they don't have that. So you giving your kid a disadvantage from the start. You know what I'm saying? Just because you not showing up and doing what you supposed to do as a mother or a father, whichever way it is, you know damn well if you have kids out here, and you know damn well if you're doing what it takes to raise those kids. I'm not talking about buying shoes. I'm not talking about buying clothes. I'm not talking about coming over buying some damn hot Cheetos. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm not talking about sending them songs that they shouldn't even be listening to. I'm talking about stuff like helping them with their homework. Even if you got to do it on video chat, it doesn't matter. If your kid is of age to work a phone, you have no reason to be the outside parent that don't connect with your kid, especially if it's an electronic in their household. You know what I'm saying? It's 2025. Most people by now, if you a single parent, you doing some crazy shit anyway, and you probably being sneaky about your money. So I'm sure you got an iPhone or at least a regular phone that works and send pictures and do videos and all of those things, so you have no opportunity to say that you didn't have a chance to be in that kid life, because it comes a point where you could just deal with the kid and not the mom. So you have opportunities.
Also, like, if you think about it, like, you see how good your kids are right now, and that's just from the mom pouring into them and shit like that. Imagine the significant difference, the multiplication of how much better your child could be if it's two parents pouring into them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because especially when you got multiple kids, it's hard to give all of them all the emotional support and needs that they have. You cannot be there for all of them. It's impossible. And definitely, you dropped the ball. And I was just telling Creasha the other day, like, because she's good at listening to her kids' point of view. See, I'm from the old school, and I gotta stop thinking like that. Like, you don't have no point of view in my household. You know what I mean? Like, your point of view is you got a little bit of leeway. Like, I allow my kids to express themselves, but it's a way to do it. Like, you're not gonna loud talk me, you're not gonna cuss me out. But Creasha's good at letting her kids be, who they are. And I gotta stop. I gotta get more with the time, because I'm more, traditional, old school. Which you do what I say. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I just believe in kids being able to express themselves, because they gonna be themselves, like, regardless to what we actually, I mean, when our parents told us stuff, did we actually do it?
That's what I said. Like, she's always like, well, hey, we did this or I did this. And I'm just like, bitch, I don't care. Like,
yeah, like, I mean,
I don't want.
You have to allow your kid to grow into themselves, because if I tell them, like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to be this person, then who are they really living for? They not living their own life. They living the life that you told them to.
And that's what I always say. Like, I'm so scared for them, because I know what the mistakes lead to. Yeah. And that's where it comes out of. Like, they may think like that I'm just angry and coming down on them, but it's out of fear.
Yeah.
Because I know what those roads lead to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes though, like when you a teenager and you just don't listen
with your kids too.
When you don't want to listen, it's like find out the hard way then. I warned you. So if it happens because you didn't listen, that's your bad, you know? I'm just gonna sit there and tell you, like, hey, you caused that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, certain things that your kids do, they know better, you know? So sometimes they gotta learn the hard way if they don't want to listen, you know, and do what you trying to tell them to do when it's the right thing to do. I always tell my kids, like, you have your own brain. Think for yourself. Don't let nobody steer you in the wrong direction. If you know the right direction and you allow somebody to steer you wrong, then guess what? That's your fault. That's on you. You gotta eat it. You gotta take it. Understand that. You know. So another thing is being difficult with the other parent on purpose. You know, like when y'all broke up and y'all not tripping off of the relationship between y'all, stop carrying these bitter emotions and dealing with the other parent with those emotions. You know, like if it's no relationship, no attachments, it shouldn't even be about that. It should be about the kids, you know? And if we both loving our kids, like we say, there should be no option to argue, to fight, to do anything. And another thing, if you the outside parent and you not doing your job 100% and you know it, I don't care if it's for work, if it's for school, if it's whatever reason you got to give, whatever that is, I don't care. You don't have no option to just use that as an excuse, you know? Like you have to do your part. And if you're not doing your part, you have no rights to tell the other parent how they need to do what they doing. You know, like if you a parent, be a parent the way that you're supposed to be a parent. And if you not, don't put that blame on nobody else but you, because you have full access to doing what you need to do for your kid. If you have it hard with your kid's mom, most of the time, if you're doing the right thing and you go to court, they gonna give you your rights. You know what I'm saying? So you have no, it's just how bad do you really want to be around your kid? How much time do you really want to spend with them? Because people out here saying they parents and saying they, you know, love their kids, but that's not what they showing. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they really putting in effort for.
Parenting is an action word, just like love. Anybody could be a parent, but if you're not actively involved, you should be involved with everything. You should know everything. Like, stop putting all this shit on the one parent. Like, it's a lot on one parent.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, it's a lot with one kid, but to have multiple kids, and then you doing it by yourself. Like,
and you gotta go to work every day.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, you work, you get off, you Lord knows you don't want to do nothing but go rest and lay down. Sometimes you got kids games, you got other shit for your younger kids to do. Yep. And then don't even get me started on how you gotta find time to cook for dinner and shit like that. Like,
yes. Like I can literally get up and leave my house Monday through Friday, 6:45 in the morning. And I literally take my high schooler, take my elementary 2 kids, go to work, have my little hour lunch. That's my only break to myself. So I literally have to do what I want to do on that hour break, because otherwise I wouldn't get to do none of the things that I want to do. So I do that. And then when I get off work, that depends on how busy we are at the office. You know, sometime I'm 5:30, 6 o'clock sometime, maybe even 7. So, you know, then my son might have a game. I have to go pick him up or either run to the game and watch him play, you know, pick up the twins still before that. And after that, I still have to feed them, you know, I still have to let them shower so they can go to school tomorrow and iron their clothes and do everything that I need to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to do all that in a day.
Bedtime.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, but people think that being a single mom, like, I know my baby daddy always tell me things like, oh, you don't really even have the kids. They go to school and they go to daycare. Yeah, but who you think is washing their clothes? Who you think is cooking for them? Who you think is making sure they got lunch and snacks and all of that stuff? I have to go grocery shopping. I have to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do.
Communication with the people in school and at the daycare.
You know, all of that, you know? And you just don't understand. Like, but it's crazy how a person that's doing this much is like, you're not doing nothing. Like, what? Yeah. What? Like, make me comprehend that, because
if you
this
feel
ain't
like
a little
that, then
bit
how about you
much.
take them full time and
I'm
let's
telling you.
see how you
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Because a lot of people that talk about how easy it should be for single moms, and y'all can do this and y'all can do that. Everybody always got stuff to say, like, oh, we pricked the wrong guys. Oh, so we just had a baby by the wrong guy that just wouldn't take care of his kid.
Yeah.
We can't randomly select, oh, this guy right here because he looks like he suspicious for a good baby daddy. Like, what? No, we can't go around
thinks that
hand picking. Yeah. No, especially when you promise something totally different. Like, I mean, people get mad at you because you just grow up and you get sick of the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And you call them out on it, and they can't take that. They want to be able to use you and abuse you and manipulate you. And when you speaking up for yourself, then everybody looking at you like you crazy and you got problems because you got smart and opened your eyes finally. It's crazy.
It's always like that. When you wise up and don't want to deal with the bullshit no more. Same shit I go through with my husband. Like, now that I don't want nothing to do with him and ain't putting up with his bullshit, like, I'm the unreasonable one. I'm the crazy one. Like,
yeah. Sometimes, when you break up after being in a relationship for some consecutive years, you need to check on your kids, and make sure that they okay, because even if they don't have a relationship with that male or female figure that was in their home, it affects them in some type of way, good or bad. It really affects them, and it's hard to decipher what they actually feel unless you talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to talk to your kids and understand what's going on with them, because um I was with my kid's father for so long and didn't even realize that it was that toxic, because I was just so in love with him. And it's like not until I actually stepped back from that relationship, like, damn, you really caught up in the head over him and you really need to get it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy when your kids start realizing that y'all toxic for each other. You really need to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I wasn't warned throughout the years. I just was in a relationship and so caught up on a future that I wanted for me and my kids that I didn't care about certain things. But you got to care, because somebody got to be level headed in that situation. Somebody has to have their head on straight. Somebody has to be able to provide for these kids things that they're going to lack from that other parent, and no, it's not fair for us to have to be giving all of it to them, because I feel like I'm giving all I got to my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like I'm giving all I got to them and I don't have nothing left, and when I do have something left, it's like, damn, it's not even enough. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little like, it ain't even no it's a just a little bit of taste, and that hurts. It really hurts when
especially when you working so hard, like, and you just can't get out of the slump, like, because your kids always need something. They always got something that's like, yeah.
It's always something that you have to do, and sometimes we don't even have the answers. Like, I'm going through a season in my life where I don't even know the direction it's taking me in right now, as far as work, as far as, my son's future, both of them, like, they growing into these young men, and some things are hindering that they want to do, that they don't have all access to do. So I'm trying to open up avenues so they can make these things happen. And it's just like, where you at, Dad? Where you at? You know what I'm saying? Where you at, cousins? Where you at, family? Where you at, village? I don't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just gotta make it happen. You gotta try to be the trooper that you've always been. And it's like, damn, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm tired. I want to throw in the towel for a second, like, tag me out.
Yeah.
Tag me out.
I just said this.
Tag me out.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to tap out. Like, it's so hard when you got to be the person for everybody. Like, you don't have nobody who's taking care of you, who's being there for you. And then me and my sister were just talking about this. Like, in the midst of all the shit you got going on with your kids, then you get sick. And you still got to go to work. You still got to get them to their practice. You still got to get them to the doctor. You still got to make dinner.
Still got to do it.
The kids get to be taken care of by us when they sick. And we when do we down, we
just down, and we still got to be up.
We still got to be up.
Yeah. And it don't feel no good. It don't feel good at all, but we just do it because who else gonna do it?
You ain't got nobody to lean on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, like, my baby daddy will tell you she got a messy house. But ask him how many pairs of clothes he done helped me fold. How many socks he done washed. How many outfits he done hung up. You ain't put no effort into helping, but yet you can come and say something negative about the situation. Because you got a program,
you know what I'm saying, with the kids you running every day.
Exactly. So it's just, those little things you gotta be mindful for, and then sometimes you need to make sure that you got a good relationship with the other parent, because y'all need to talk about stuff that these kids go through. Like y'all be going through y'all bullshit and don't even realize these kids be starving and needing y'all for shit that y'all not even mentally there, emotionally there for it, because you too caught up in your bullshit. You too caught up angry about some stuff that happened 5-10 years ago. Oh, you cheated on me 2 years ago, so I don't trust you and I don't believe. Like, ain't nobody talking about that. Ain't nobody talking about that. Worry about these kids. That's what matters, and understand that some of us have our own child traumas and triggers, and it's hard as hell to emotionally be there for your own children at the same time you trying to overcome your own childhood stuff. You know what I'm saying? Things that sometimes I go through stuff with my kids and I hit moments of rock hard spots, and I realize that I still got some trauma in my system from my childhood that I ain't dealt with, and it's triggers to it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know it sometime that it even existed. And it's crazy because I was always the sad kid. Always feeling like my mama neglected me and why my daddy wasn't here like he should have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy.
I felt the same way. And that's what kind of, remember I was telling you, I always tell you and my auntie that's what makes me like so mad and depressed about the shit that I'm going through with my kids, is because when I was younger, I felt like I had a reason to run away. You know what I'm saying? My mom didn't care about me, like how you said, and you was always sad. Like, I used to pray to God to take me. Like, what was the point? We was always homeless. We had to feed ourselves. So
yeah.
I used to feel the same way, and I used to wish like I had family to, go to, or a dad to go to. And yeah, it's hard.
Like, this right now, like, I wasn't even going to cry or nothing, and but I'm gonna be transparent and real. In the midst of the season I'm in right now, like, I'm trying to trust God in the midst of all of this. It's a storm, and I see a lot of people that I really love going through a lot right now, and I'm not even in a position to help them. And it's crazy because it's so many people I know going through stuff that I really want to help, and I can't help those certain situations, because I got my own problems and my own situations, and it's like, when you work so hard, when you've crawled back from the person that I used to be because of the traumas of my childhood, and just focusing on being the best that I can be for my kids, it's like, damn, why do all hell gotta break through all the time? Why do I still feel like the weight is on my shoulders when I'm here doing everything that I could possibly do to make sure that everything is good for my kids, when nobody else is coming and showing up for them? And even when I'm dead tired like this in the game, or, screaming and losing my voice when I work for a doctor, I'm doing all of these things and I'm trying to support everybody. You know what I'm saying? I got a son over here. I got a son right here. I got a son that need me this way, need me that way, but I need myself sometime, and I can't even be there for me because I have to be there for my kids. I love to be there for my kids, but sometimes I just need a little bit for myself, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. This shit is really hard. I can't emphasize on that. So me just trying to focus and trust God through this, trying to have faith that it will all come together in, in a victorious way, because it's hard, man. It's hard to stay strong. It's hard not to revert back to your old ways. It's hard not give a fuck. It's hard. It's just hard to keep pushing every day. Like, you have no idea. And I'm not out here trying to beat the system. I'm not trying to sell my pussy. I'm not out here trying to do no ratchet ass shit. I'm out here, not even out here shaking my ass on social media or nothing. I'm trying to be an upstanding citizen, a good mother, a respectable mom, to teach my 4 sons how to live shit that they dad ain't teaching them, that ain't around and ain't strong enough in the mind to actually give to his own children. That's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard every day trying to walk around with a smile and trying to be happy and understand what everybody else is saying, because this shit is hard. It's hard.
It definitely is. That shit starts to weigh down on you. Like,
Yeah.
it's days I be sitting here like so miserable with my life. Like,
Yeah.
it don't even, I know it's hard, like, to be grateful. Like, people always say, give thanks to God. It's hard for me to thank God in the midst of my misery. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm like, I don't feel there's nothing to be grateful for. Then I'll go around the corner and see something that make me realize that I should be grateful. Like,
Yeah.
even like I've said it before, even the place I live right now, like, it's not the best and I don't want to live here, but I'm grateful for it right now because it could be worse. And we was just talking about how hard it is to even think about upgrading yourself because you gotta always make 2.5 to 3 times the rent.
Yeah.
And who is doing that?
Then they want you to have the first month, last month rent. If rent is $1,500, how I'm supposed to have that? I can barely make this $1,500 a month, and you want me to have double that right now? Like,
they want you to have triple that shit.
Exactly.
You gotta have 2.5 jobs type shit. Like,
and then they want to call you an unfit mom because you working 2 jobs to just cover the rent for these kids. You know what I'm saying? Then they want to tell you got some badass kids or you doing something wrong because you trying to basically take care of y'all. It makes no sense. Like, I just don't get it.
That's where I start. Like, and that's what I was saying. Like, sometimes I feel bad because, my kids was by themselves a lot because I worked. But then at the same time, it's like, I have to tell myself too, like, I had no choice. It was either we be homeless and not eat and they struggle, then so I sacrifice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they still get angry about that shit. But
that's more than anybody could say, because everybody will judge the situation however they want to judge it. But at the end of the day, like I always tell you, sis, unless you sitting in your shoes and you have to make that decision, you don't know what the hell you would do. So you can't really judge anybody in that situation, because until your back is against the wall and you have no other way to turn, you don't know what decision you will make. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had to leave my kids in the car on certain occasions, and I'm not talking about for hours or nothing like that, but just to go in the store real quick because they too little, and this one is 4 and this one is 2, and it's raining or something or whatever. You right here, so you go and do some shit like that, but you can still get caught up for that. But some things you have to alter and do because you only have you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make no sense. Like,
and to take it back to the dads, like, that's what make me mad. Like, when the kids are mad at you and resent you for not being there or doing this, it's like, but if the other parent, why don't you put the blame on them? Because I'm here, I'm doing my job.
Exactly. And it's just like my situation. Like, I have a son that does a lot. He plays a lot of sports and he goes a lot of places. He's in a lot of, activities and stuff at school.
To my
So it's
DJ.
so it's like
real good for himself.
He putting it all on my plate, and because I'm a single mom and I'm doing most of the work, it's like, bruh, I can't do everything on top of my job, on top of having other kids. And I have to pick this one up, I have to pick that one up, I have to sometimes Uber him, that costs money. But I can't be, what I'm gonna do, tell my kid, oh, you can't go to practice today, or oh, you can't go to your game today because your dad work out of town, or because I can't get to you, or because, like, it's not his fault. we supposed to work together.
Different opportunities.
I do, because I didn't never get to do nothing as a kid. I never got to go nowhere. I never had no weekend money. I never had nothing. I wanted to be a cheerleader. I wanted to be on the gymnastics. You know, I wanted to do all of that stuff. I love that, but I knew my mama was always gonna say no to me, so I never even tried to ask or give it a chance, give it a shot. You know, like I already knew that was an automatic no. So I'm like, what's the point of getting my hopes up for something like that? You know, like when I graduated from fifth grade, I wanted to go to a school in the valley called Patola. And they, you know how when you graduate and they give you all these different schools and stuff like that for you to pick, all she had to do was sign a paper. She wouldn't even sign a paper for me to get on the bus and go to another school. Like, okay, so now I'm gonna go to the school and I'm gonna start ditching and I'm gonna start smoking weed and I'm gonna start being bad as hell.
What's
you know what I'm saying?
And keeping your kid from better opportunities, like that's selfish.
Yeah.
That was some selfish shit because, and then you ain't even have to. I thought you was about to say because she was gonna have to give you a ride and they was gonna bus you there.
No, I was gonna get bus, and you know, and of course I can't say that I knew it was gonna be totally free, but I'm assuming that it was because it's just California, like it wasn't no private school, it was just it was like a charter, yeah, and I'm just like I don't know what kind of school it was, but I don't think it was a private school. But I think it was an advanced little school or whatever. But I'm just like, I didn't want to go to Henry Clay, because I was always fighting and stuff. But either way, it made me tough, though. It made me tough. But I didn't want that for my kids. That's why I just wanted to move away when everything happened to my dad. Like he went through, his little passing and I had to go to the funeral and all of that stuff. I was just like, I'm gonna come out here with you, just start over. And that's the best thing I could have did for myself because it made me change who I was, and the people that I met along the way is the reason I am the way I am now. Like, because if you know me 20 years ago, you'd be like, shit, she's too much, right? Like she's too much. But
I always say that, like she's grown so much.
Man,
yeah,
it's a lot. But you need to make sure you a healed parent. Like I know all of us out here, we meet people and we find people that we like and we think we in love or lust or whatever it is, and we end up having kids and stuff like that. Make sure you're a healed parent because you got to be a real parent, a real adult, a real teacher, a real lover, a real leader. You got to be a motivator when you have children. You got to be respectable as a person. Just understand it. Not broken, angry, drunk, high, lazy, uncontrolled, bad behavior. That's not how you react as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to give our kids more than we had. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people, be who you needed when you was a kid because we all have something that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? We all had something that we thought of as a kid. Like, damn, I don't think my mom did this right, or I don't think my dad did this right, or they could have did this a little better, or said that a little better. You know what I'm saying? So be that person that you always wanted. If you wanted a gentle parent, be a gentle parent to your kids. If you wanted to not have your mom scream at you a lot, stop screaming at your kids. And I'm learning that now because I scream a lot at my kids and I just hear my mom in my ear screaming at me like, damn, I need to stop that because I know I hated it. But I'm doing it to my kids. It does. Yes. So you got to get in a habit of doing better things too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in the midst of it, you be going there. After you sit back and you like, damn, I should have said that.
And see, sometimes the thing about it is, even when you make mistake as parents, when you do those things, be bold enough to go back and apologize and explain things. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm not even the best at that.
You have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we expect our kids to be on adult levels when we want them to be. But when you need to act like an adult, you need to make sure that you responding like an adult. Because a lot of things, if you look at it, exactly. Yes, you got to show them and practice what you preach. Like you can't just sit here and expect. Like, I'm gonna tell you like this, and this is in the Bible. Kids are supposed to honor their moms and their dads. They really are. But it also tells us not to provoke those kids. So if you a parent that like to do stuff to piss your kids off and then they go off on you or they get crazy with you, don't provoke them to do that, because you could do a little better too. You can talk better. You don't have to always yell and scream. If you decide, I start telling myself, if you always got to yell and scream to get your point across, then no one's hearing you anyway. So why are you yelling and screaming? You know what I'm saying? No one listens to you while you talking to them like that. The same way you don't want nobody talking to you. I feel like
they don't listen when I'm talking to.
You know what I'm saying? It just
either way they ain't listening, man. Yeah.
Well, then that's a different story. You got to go hard. Yeah,
that's why I say, like, that's why my frustration is, because, and I always tell my kids, like, this is why I feel like I can't be nice to them, because when they want me to be a soft, gentle parent and ask them nicely and, hey, make sure you clean your room up and stuff, like it really ain't a big deal. That let them think like, oh, you ain't got to clean that shit right now. But if I say, get the fuck up and clean this room up now, they know I mean business.
Yeah.
But if I say, oh, this room is a little dirty, they just gonna be like, oh, okay, it's just dirty. They not gonna do shit.
Yeah, so I get that.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes you have to put your little bass in the voice or whatever.
But they don't like that either. It's like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, because when I say it nicely, you think I'm joking.
Like, I wasn't always screaming. I started out calm.
And that's another thing I was gonna say. When we were younger, raising our kids, I always wanted to, we didn't whoop our kids like that. I always wanted to not whoop my kids as the first thing that you go to. You know what I mean? Like, we did the corners and time, like we did that book shit when they was younger. We put them in timeout. We did the corners. We did all that. Like, I always wanted whoopings to be like the um last resort, and I feel like sometimes because we let them slide so many times, then it builds up and our reaction is worse because we should have took care of it the first time instead of letting it get on our nerves to that point. You know what I mean? Yeah. Does that happen for you sometimes where you feel like
it has
overreact? Yeah.
See, that's why I stopped doing stuff that I used to do when I was younger. Like okay, I would smoke weed in the house with the kids, or I would drink a beer or whatever. You young, and you would be so cool when you faded, and let your kids do whatever they want. And then when you not faded, you trying to pop them for the same thing you just allowed them to do. Like, I start realizing, like, you not doing this right. Like, they don't, you confusing them, like, one minute you were cool with it and you're not now. No, you can't do your kids like that, because it ain't their fault that you feel good today and tomorrow you just own your shit tomorrow, but today you're not. It's not their fault.
And
they don't control
just the drinking, and not to cut you off, but not even just the drinking and shit. Like, sometimes you tired and you laying down or some shit because you got off work. Right. And you don't feel like dealing with it. So you be like, go ahead. Like, that shit happens too. Like,
they do that on purpose.
Yes. But I used to do it. That's why I always say, like, I know I'm the reason my kids is like this. You know what I mean? Because I would put them on punishment, feel bad that they couldn't watch TV, or feel bad that they couldn't go outside, and be like, oh, okay, you can go out like a day later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's cool. But and that's why they like this. Like, they think I'm a joke type shit, because I'm always like, I remember my daughter told the people in daycare, like, that's okay, my mama gonna be too tired from work to whoop my ass. Like, not, she didn't say ass, but she said whoop me. Like, and that's the shit. Like, even my kids now, like, I tell my twins all the time, like, the shit y'all doing when you get 18, you out of here. I don't think they believe me, because they not doing shit about it. Like, ain't neither one of them got no job. They don't know where they going. It's like, I think they think I'm joking. And shit, my brother think I'm joking. Everybody that know me probably think I'm joking because I'm such a softie with my kids. But let them tell it I'm the wicked witch of the West. But everybody else know
the wicked witch of the West.
These kids will tell you like I'm a demonic mother type shit. Like,
oh wow.
That's
crazy. Yeah, the kids today are just
they perception of their parents.
I think the kids today are more bolder than we are. They are quick to tell you about your wrongs and your rights, and they quick to stand up to you more. And it's because they have all these supporters, CPS and social rights and all of this stuff, so that they feel like they can go up against you, so to speak. So it's like, if you don't instill these things in them at a young age, they're not gonna have them. And a lot of times we miss doing those things because y'all not helping us.
Are we working?
or we just not in our right mind at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna sit here and say it was just all my baby daddy. You know, we was together for a while. So I was a little off too. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get it together. I had to get it together because I feel like I've been an exceptionally good mom. And I missed a lot of stuff. You know, and because I can only imagine. I can only imagine people that don't try as hard as us. Girl, what they missed with their kids, because for me to miss the things that I've missed and be there 24/7, never left, sometimes you just don't get it right as parents, and you have to go to your kids and apologize sometimes and tell them, you know what I'm saying? But you can always start now. It ain't where you been, it's where you going. And it's never too late. As long as y'all both got breath in y'all body, it's never too late to build that relationship up. I always tell you that. Like, it's never too late. Don't ever count nothing out. You know what I'm saying? That's where your faith in God come in at. And I do have faith in God because I was off for a while with my second son. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to talk to him because I didn't know how to talk to him. I was screaming and yelling at him, and he not that type of kid that you can scream and yell. I could do that all day with my older son because he just shine my ass out. But the second one, it breaks him in a different way, and I had to learn that for myself. Like, wait a minute, you doing too much right now. You gotta come a certain way, and sometimes you gotta alter how you speak to somebody because delivery is everything. That's how they gonna grab your information. So if you yelling at me, I'm that way too. If you yelling at me, you can say whatever you want to say. I'm not gonna listen to you. But if another person come right behind you and say it in a more calm way, I'm gonna understand that. But if you just doing a dribber jabber, I'm just gonna look at you like, yeah, I don't understand. But how you feel about that?
I feel like to delivery, like, that's what I was telling one of my sons earlier. Like, cause every time I say something to him, he just flies off the handle. Like, he starts loud talking to me. Like, he's just so angry at me for. And this is what I was telling you yesterday. Like, I don't know why they so angry at me. Like, you would think that I ran the streets or I didn't take care of them and shit like that. But and that's what I was telling him earlier. Like, it's a way that you talk to me. You don't you need to be respectful. You don't get louder than me. You don't start that rah-rah shit with your mom. It's calm, collected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they pipe up to me, it make me boss up to them. Like, hold the fuck on. I'm the mom. Like,
right. Like, and that's like that.
And that's how shit escalates because you try to maintain the adult role in the household. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. It got to a point a year ago to where I lost that control, and they was just running the household, basically doing what the fuck they wanted to do, and that had a lot to do with DPS and the police. That's what I struggled to maintain all these years, and sometimes they make it worse because um you trying to maintain control and be in charge, but it just sets them off further. You know what I mean?
My older kids are a lot more mellow too because of my kids' father parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had them sometimes in their younger days and took them to church, and while we was out being crazy people, they were with them, so they didn't see all of it. They seen a lot of it, but they didn't see all of it. So that's pretty much, why they probably got more calmness too. But it's just a lot on one person. You know what I'm saying? Like, for you, you've been doing it all these years, like, people should be surprised that you ain't even walked away. You know what I'm saying? Because you go through a lot of shit every day, and you don't got, like you said, you don't got one kid, you don't got two kids, you got six. You know what I'm saying? And you've been there from the start, and you started before you was even grown. So that's a long time. And
that's what I'm glad you said that, because I be wanting to tell my kids. Like, I told my son yesterday when we was arguing, and I told him, like, dude, like, I've always done the best I could by y'all. I'm not perfect by no means, but and I think they forget that I became a mother as a child. So I really didn't know shit.
I don't think that they forget. I think it's more so they don't care because they're kids too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they like, that's not my problem. You chose to have us and stuff like that. So
it's not that, but I want them to realize, like, imagine at your age right now,
kids
having that
imagine
shit,
that type of shit.
they don't
That's like
comprehend.
telling them to imagine we came home to a clean house and we bought them something and took them out. They would imagine that shit and still not do the fucking kitchen and clean up. You know what I'm saying? We can tell them that we about to take their ass somewhere. Do you honestly think they in a place in their life where they gonna really get that shit done?
And that's what I'll be saying. Like, you want them to understand this and comprehend it, but they not of the mind state or the age to comprehend. Just like now, like all the I talk about all the time, like all the sacrifices and the shit that I've done. They don't care about that shit right now. They don't care about what I've had to do to take care of them. It doesn't matter to them. Yeah. But it will in the future. You know what I mean? Once they get out there and experience life. I just, I tell Creasha every week, like, man, I'm done. I'm just tapping out. But then the next week I'll talk like, oh, I'm still trying, girl, still trying to hang in there. And that's the thing, like, that I be telling my kids, like, I try every week. Every week I try different with them. And it's the same shit, but I never give up. And that's what I be wanting them to see. Like, yeah, I'm not giving up. Like, I'm still here. I'm fighting with y'all every day because I care. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. If I didn't give a fuck, I just let them do what they want to do. Yeah. Like, definitely. I care because I want you to be right. I want you to do good. And they don't see that shit right now. To them, I'm the fun sucker, the the joy killer. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it'd be like that. How can you be a parent and build a relationship with a whole new stranger, trying to prove yourself and prove your respect and honesty and love and all the things that you would tell a person that you want to be in a new friendship, relationship, whatever ship with, how can you do those things, but you don't even build that with your own children, it's amazing that you can call yourself a parent because you have a child, but you don't do anything that requires you to be a parent. You don't pour into your kids. You don't love them totally. You're not selfless with them. You're not vulnerable with them. You don't teach them anything about manhood. You don't teach them about anything about a future. You are an angry individual. You are a terrifying individual, and you can't even communicate in a simple conversation. It makes no sense that you call yourself a parent when you can't respond like an adult. You know what I'm saying? You put a kid in a position to be an adult. And then when they act like an adult, you're mad because they are acting like an adult. It makes no sense that you leave a kid in your place to do your work and then get mad because they're assisting with your work. Like, if you stand in your position, if all these outside parents that have a lot of shit to say about what the inside parent is doing and not doing, if you had anything to say about that, you should be doing your part. You know what I'm saying? So that she wouldn't have to say anything to you or try to make you feel bad about anything. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard for the outside parent to just be cordial and do what they supposed to do. Like, I don't get it. It shouldn't be based off of old feelings and old emotions. It should be based off of, what do the child need right now? What can we do to help a child now? Or yeah, if she being nice to me, I'm gonna do something for my kids. Like, no. Exactly, and that makes no sense, because what you do for your kids should never be based off of how you feel about the mom or the dad. Because then it's not about the kids. Exactly, it's about y'all relationship, and that's where most men mess up at. Like, it's got to be about what's best for your child. Just like we said, like, if a woman need help with a bill, pay it, because your child suffers when the lights is off or there's no food to eat. I mean, listen to me when I say this, women. Do not date a man that has just potential. You have to see if he's able to give you what that potential requires, because a lot of us see good in people and they ain't even willing to see the good in their own self. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you cannot live off of potential. You will starve just trying to be with somebody that has the potential, because it may take them 25 years to actually use that and put effort to pushing on that potential, so do not do that.
you got to make sure that they mean what they say and say what they mean before you have them babies, before you make requirements to live with each other, before you do all those extra things. Stop giving these boyfriends husband attire, because it's like dressing a mannequin up in your prom outfit, and you know what I'm saying, you're not going, you go to prom in something totally different. It's just not right. You know what I'm saying? Don't do those things, because we get confused when we got some good. You know what I'm saying? You get confused and you be in lust, not love. Mm-hmm. Don't get it confused. One more thing before I go. Parents, let me tell you, there is a big difference with being present in the home and having your presence in the home. You can always be there and we can see you. We can hear you. We can watch you watch TV, hear you take showers, come in and out from work, but you're not doing no interactions with your kids. You're not saying just the words, "How your day?" Yeah. "Oh, it was good," and you keep it pushing. That is not communication. That is a simple question, and that is it. That is a basic, simple, worthless question, because you can kind of tell what kind of day a motherfucker had if you see it on their face. So you don't even have to ask that question. You can kind of see when your girl come in and she mad, or your mom come in and she mad, or your dad, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is. So understand that your presence is needed in these kids' life. Not just being present. "Oh yeah, dad gonna come pick me up for my birthday, or he gonna come buy me some shoes." What is dad teaching you that you need to know in class this week? Is dad sending you rap music, or is dad sending you timetable forms and you know how to help you do fractions and division and all of those things? Did he buy you a new book and Amazon it to the house so that you can read the new Spider-Man or the new Sonic or the new whatever? Like, what kind of help? Some tip clips for the sports guy? Oh no, you're not doing that. You just doing what you do. That's crazy. But
Yeah, I think that that's definitely important. And like you said, them being inside the house and not doing anything. Like, you can be in the household, but if you're not spending time with the child, all the child see you is coming and going, just like Creasha said, sleeping and leaving. Like, you're not being a parent to that child. That doesn't make you a parent because you there. It's not the same. You got to be involved, cooking meals, doing this. That's being a parent.
Definitely.
I had a scripture to share with you guys today. It's from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. And it says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." And I wanted to share this because I've lived my life like by this basic principle. And that's what I always tell my kids. Like, you treat others as you want to be treated, and you help those who are in need. And I know last week we talked about a little bit of karma, and you pour good things into the world, and you can expect good things back. When you pour in bad things and negativity and violence and stuff like that, that stuff does come back. It's got to come back and go somewhere. Because you guys know what's going on in the world right now, and it's real chaotic and all that. So help people that you see that may be in need. Help somebody. You know what I mean? Because we didn't all been there. Like, somebody asked me last week, they was at the gas station, ran out of gas and needed some gas. And
oh man, yes.
Anytime I see somebody that need gas and I can help, I help, because there's so many times that we ran out of gas
and we got
help. Even times we didn't really run out of gas and people helped us just because they thought we needed help.
Yep.
So that's why I always try to help as much as I can. Like,
you definitely have to.
I feed the homeless because I was homeless. And if you've been homeless, you understand. Like, I'm not talking about just being homeless in a motel. I'm talking about I've lived in shelters, like homeless shelters, where they make you leave in the morning and come back later type shit.
Wow.
But yeah, so I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Like, help each other. If you see somebody in need, help them. even though you may not agree with what they doing, help them. See if you can help them. You know what I'm saying? Versus talking about it.
Yeah.
And as always, you guys know where to follow us on Facebook and Instagram under Life of a Single Mom with Brittney&Creasha.
Yes.
We're on X and TikTok under the acronym LOASM 2024. And you guys can still email us your questions, concerns, advice. If you just want to say what up, you can email us at LOASM2024 at gmail or LOASM2025 at gmail. And as always, you guys do your best to stay less stressed and more blessed as you're raising these kids out here in the streets.
All right, guys.
Till next time.
All right.